Nothing you say, nothing you do is gonna stop me. Break me down, tear me up, come on and make me bleed. It's gonna take a lot more than you'll ever ask. Before you know it, you'll be laid out on your back. In the end, rip to shreds, and I'll be standing over you. This is a war. I might be scarred and battle torn, but I don't run and hide. It's my pride that says stand up tall and fight. Fight, fight, fight. Never hold back, never a doubt, no hesitation. Throw the pitch, hit the switch, a transformation. So take a shot, take a number, take your place in line. You're gonna fall, you're gonna crumble just like every time. In the end, rip the shreds, and I'll be standing over you. This is a war. I might be scarred and battle torn, but I don't run and hide. It's my pride that says stand up tall and fight. Fight, fight, fight. This is a war.
The world's best gather here. XBL baseball starts now.
It's crushed to the moon, and we're tied.
He picks it up on the second, over to first in time for the double play that ends the inning.
That's gone.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Trying to repeat.
It's gone!
And over to the pen! This game is over!
Oh! Crushed! Left field! Off the pole! Swung on, belt to deep left field! Is this baby gone? A grand
right center field, carrying, and it's gone.
The world's best gather here. XBL Baseball.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another production here of the Cross-Platform Baseball League, a special one, as our 20th season is upon us, and it is our Season 20 preview show, and I'm joined tonight by many of my esteemed colleagues here in the XBL far and wide, all of AA, AAA, and XBL experiences, and all of your fellow, and friendly casters that you've gotten familiar with. And if you're new here, these are the guys that are usually calling your games behind the scenes and are right in front of you here on these roundups and on these shows. So without further ado, I'm going to send it around the bend over to Mama Junjun and let him say what's up. How you doing, Mama Junjun?
I'm doing pretty good. I think it's been a while for me since I've been in the booth. I think this is probably my favorite show of the whole season, so I'm just glad we're back.
Yeah, dude, good to see you back. Glad you're here with us. Fresh off runners-up in the XBL nonetheless, and we're looking forward to seeing what you got this season. We got Mystery Man as well, a.k.a. the AAA's aficionado, our big man himself. How you doing, Misto?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to have so much, really great people in here. Mama June, Zlat, and Uni. Well, let's get to Uni.
Yeah, we're taking it over to Uni with his wig on over there. What's up, dude? How you doing? He's got his special unicorn of the week. Maybe that's his regular hair, actually.
It's just my 9 to 5 hair, but I kept it on today. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be here. This is like MJ said, and I think all of us probably agree, this is our favorite show of the year. It's a little bit lengthy, and that's because we have a lot of fun with it. And I wore the wig for the new guys that might not have a whole lot for us to say because they just have scrims here at the beginning. You can get some awards and get a lot more talked about if you have a hot start. And so when you're around here, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it's going to be a great show, and it's going to be a really good season. So I'm glad everyone's here.
Yeah, really, really excited to have you, as always. Excited to see, what you have up your sleeve for the unicorn of the weekend of the season for Season 20. That should be pretty special. And we've got Zlat here with us, and he's got that special Hobbs jersey on, that fire custom, dude. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing great, Dwayne. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Like Uni said, like everyone else said, I'll just echo. This is probably one of the best, shows we get to put on every season. So happy to be part of it and looking forward to just diving in. All the new returning people. It's going to be a good one. So.
Yeah, as everyone's already stated, it's really, really exciting. And if you don't already know, what we're going to go through here tonight are our initial power rankings for the season for all three leagues. We'll give you a little bit of predictions here as to what we think the outcome of the seasons might be. And then we're going to have the reveals of our opening day games and our matches of the week for the season as they're listed right now. So really, really exciting. We're going to get to touch on everybody here. And without further ado, we're going to take a step over into the AA section of the map. Let me just get myself pulled up and ready to go here, get you guys some jams, and we'll let Uni and Mist take this one away. Who's going to start us off?
Start off, but can you share the screen, brother?
Oh, I'm very sorry. Just a mere moment.
I also think you're muted, Miss, with the little red. Oh, okay.
There you are.
All right. Sorry, everyone. Let's see what we got here first. Not sure how to pronounce this guy's name. I know it's Splitstar's friend over there. Rank 15, I mean, he's a rookie, so it's one of those guys you don't have a ton to say about, but you love to see a rookie get in there because you know you're going to have a lot to say about him when the season gets underway. And then followed up is DJ B Jr., I guess, another rookie. He's got the flush logo. It looks like Las Vegas. Both of these guys at 70. So a couple rookies back to back. DJ has had some trouble in scrim, sitting at 1-12. So it looks like he needs to work on his run scoring a little bit, but that's something that's going to come along as you play in the AA. Then we got Under the Bus. I know he's played a lot in the XBL before, and now he's back. Love his logo with the champs. Don't know a lot about him, but I'm sure Miss does. Miss has played with him before.
Yeah, y'all sleeping on Under the Bus. I had Under the Bus at 6, and I thought I was listing him too low. So not sure why we're sleeping on the veteran here. But these other two, I did not know that Takizi was a friend of Spliffy. DJ B, I think, cruised in really late, so I really have nothing on him.
Yeah, a couple of new guys up in here. We're excited to see what they got in the return of the bus. We know we know most Mystery Man missed Bussykins, and now he's back, so it's going to be very exciting to see him on the radar this season. We got Joey Arcavius and MH Smith over here at ranks 10, 11, and 12. Some cool new logos from the rookies, and of course another returning season from Joey in the AA, one of the big record holders down here.
It's a great group right here because you're looking at a couple rookies, but Smith has been in the chat a lot, showing a lot of passion. He's got 20 scrims in the last month, and his record is around 500, so I expect a lot out of Smith. With scrims, it really matters who you play a lot of the times, what that record turns out to be, and he's played some good players, so that'll bode well for him. Arcavius, our boy from Australia, he was in my cup group and put up a good fight. He almost beat me in both games. He went with the logo that I've liked the most when he sent it the other day. It's Sunsets is dope. 77 ego means he's got some skill to work with. 77 is a good ego to start at. Then, like you said, Joey, back for another season with the Sickos, which is just a staple in the AA at this point with some of the records he holds, and now he's just going to expand on those records again.
Yeah, I think. I played Smith. He looks pretty good for a rookie. I like his passion. Arcavius, claiming that he's kind of self-deprecating, saying he should be or is going to be ranked last. Apparently, not the case, as Uni has played this person and seems to like him. And then Joey. Oh, you love Joey. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, yes, indeed. The Sickos back for another turn around the sun. And I think playoff success is something that, Joey and the Sickos fans are desperately going to want to see this season. Let's check out 7, 8, and 9. We're already into the AA's top 10. We've got Cookie Monster on the return. We've got Delta's World and the Islanders definitely been active on the scrim front. And Forget Things and Hidden Leaf Village back for another go-around.
Yeah, I love to see Forget Things back. He's someone that, at 78 ego, he's on the middle tier of ego in the AA, but he's someone that he plays a lot of close games. He's kind of an up and down player. Now that we're getting into these top rankings, you're going to see some returning guys where we actually have a little bit to say on them. And I like Forget Things logo so much that I've got that Hidden Leaf Village tatted on my arm. So big respect to that boy. Delta's World coming in for, he's kind of replacing Fireball Max with that tropical theme. We'll see if he's got a Roberto Ramos type of player. Anyone that's been here fears Roberto Ramos, and Delta's World starting at 80 ego, and he's 11 and 8 in scrims, and he's scoring about 5 per game. So it seems like he is going to be able to hit with the best of them in the AA as a rookie. Then Cookie Monster coming back, really good guy. He's awesome to talk to in the chat. He's definitely got the passion, and now he's back for a third AA season. And a lot of times when you see players get into that third season, you start seeing them get over the hump. So I'm looking for that out of Cookie.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing about Forget Things. I think he got a little bit frustrated at the end of last season. He's learning exactly what you need to learn, which is doing certain things against certain people is going to make them look like they're the next coming of lazy. So you need to blow that off. You need to just keep learning what you can do. Delta's World, I don't know much about. Obviously, a good start, starting on, ego 80. Looks like probably a potential AAA if he sticks around. And then Cookie is slowly improving. That's really all I can say. Is I like that Cookie is sticking with it.
Yeah, Cookie definitely on the path to improvement, you could say. Same for Forget Things. I think both those players have a lot to prove this season. Finished lower than they wanted to in the last AA, and now they have that initial experience kind of under their belt. Cookie in a third season and Forget Things in a second. And they're sandwiching Deltas, who's already gotten, like you guys said, a lot of hype going into it. So excited to see these players. Now we're into the top 6 here. We've got Kawashi, Bo Dangles, and Sonko, all returning AA players from various points in their career. You can see Sonko back for his 4th AA season, but Bo Dangles and Kawashi are in their 4th running. So an interesting mix of players here.
And finally into a familiar group of faces. I'm sure some of the new guys watching are like, what is this show even about? All they've said is like, oh, he's a rookie. I don't know much. Well, here's guys that aren't rookies anymore. Soundco has been here before. Excellent pitcher. Really, really great pitcher. Has experience in the AAA, and now he's back in the AA. He won the most improved not long ago. I believe in my first season, he won the most improved. He's got a good record over 500, so someone that's going to rely on pitching and be a really tough out, especially for those new players when you face the SWAT. Bo Dangles won a Unicorn of the Week award before, so I definitely rock with Bo Dangles. He came back with the City Walk Knights, and he had a little bit of a disappointing season last season compared to the AA season before. But whenever Bo Dangles locks in, I've seen it in the SMNL and in the XBL. He's a really strong player, and starting at 82 ego, I think that's a good spot for him to, rightfully be in the top 5. He's someone that you're looking to threaten for a semifinals or a championship run. I think Kawashi, someone that's really passionate about the league, talks a lot in the chat, and really a good roster grinder kind of guy. Goes with a defense first build sometimes, and he's probably going to have one of the best, if not the best, roster in the AA, which bodes well for a guy that's been in the AA championship just 2 seasons ago. So he's another guy like Bo Dangles. I think had a little bit of a down year last season, but you're looking to see him back in that championship category.
Yeah, I think the thing about Soundco is if you're going to go into a game against Soundco chasing, it's going to be a really long game. You have to bring your eye. I'm just warning the players right now. If you're going to be chasing, you're not going to score anything. Soundco, not a hitter. Going to be interesting. I do think Bo, of the two, Kawashi and Bo, has underachieved. It seemed like he was threatening a championship 2 seasons ago. So if that was just kind of a down season, Bo could be dangerous. And then Kawashi, he could have pushed it in for a AAA ticket, I think, this season. But let's see what he does here.
Yeah, this group all has a lot of untapped potential, as you could say, probably, SWAT and Sonko with a lot of veteran potential. Like I said, these two in their 4th AA season running. This is the most veteran group of AA players as we proceed up into the top 3 as well. You're going to see even more. The most veteran group of AA players we've ever had. So they're going to continue to break records and continue to make, their own personal strides within this league as we take it to the top 3. 3 players who wanted to take strides again this season. We've got Jay Yank and the Enemigos at rank 1, Malik Dragonborn and the Dropouts at rank 2, and former champion Prestone down at rank number 3. He's back for another roll.
Yeah, AA is really seen as the development league, and now you're looking at the top. These are guys that have developed, and now they're to the point where they're on the edge of AAA, and they're now the top players in the AA just under the line. And Prestone, I believe this is actually his 3rd AA season, even though that says 2nd. He won the championship 2 seasons ago, and then last year got through the round robin as well, or I believe he might have had the bye. But one of the strongest hitters, if not the strongest hitter in the league, and he's up there at the upper end of the ego, which makes it really difficult because he's not going to probably move up on ego a lot, so you're going to have to deal with his bat the entire season. Then you got Malik, who a couple seasons ago had a really great cup run, showed that he can catch fire and play with the best of them. He's back with the Dropouts. Another player that a lot of us expected to make a deep run last season but fell a little bit short. There was a few in the AA that had a little bit of a shortcoming. But Dropout's someone that is very dangerous and a AAA sort of bid if he can have another good season put together here. Then J3, who made it to the championship last year after a huge run after the playoffs started from the round robin on. I believe he was the 10 seed and made it all the way to the finals. And one of the best locators in the AA. Not always consistent with his location, but man, when he's locating, you're going to see nothing but corner pitches for 9 innings, 18 innings if you're playing the full set. He's got the Rookie of the Year under his belt, and I would expect more of J3's first AA season than we saw last season. And that's why I agree with the ranking of putting him at number 1. I think J3 is definitely the man you're gunning for in the AA.
Yeah, I agree with that. J3 is the man. J3 should already be up in AAA in the Misto League. I don't know why he's dawdling around down here. But then again, this could be good experience for him. Maybe win a championship, certainly capable. Prestone, again, this is a player that could already be up in the AAA, is definitely on the borderline. If anything, that 83 might be slightly low. It could maybe bump that up as he wins some games. And then Malik, definitely a really good player. Is listed at a lower ego here. I think he's one that really just has fun with the game and maybe not quite as drilled into winning per se. But Malik, I wouldn't be surprised if Malik makes the finals.
Yeah, all three of these players have a lot of potential here. You can see it on the hitting side of the ball, batting over 350, 355 over their careers, but all of them just barely above 500, really. You know, pitching is a big part of the game here that I think, you know, a lot of double A players are still in the development stages of, and if they can lock it down this season, who knows who's gonna come out on top. I mean, that goes for everybody up and down the list. You got the round robin, you got the regular season, and you've got these meaningless rankings effectively at the beginning to get some hater fuel off of. So double A, shout out to everybody new and old, and thank you for joining up. We're going to head on over now to the AAA preview. Check out these rankings over here. We've got Johnny and Stacks JD down here at the bottom of the AAA to start us off. And I think this is Mist and Uni going again, but we'll switch it up and have Mist start us off.
All right, yeah. I love this logo for Stacks. I know nothing about Stacks, but I already love the logo. So, you know, he was ranked low. He didn't scrim well, but I think part of that was just pushing games to get him done so he could qualify. So I think Stacks is a true unknown. Johnny, it's kind of a slap in the face to have him this low, but, you know, I mean, at the bottom, it's all the same level, you know, rise and fall. He's a good player. Johnny will be fine.
And like you said with Stacks, I was looking at his scrim results. He went 5 and 10, but he actually had a really close run differential. And like you said, it's probably more so a factor of he was getting scrims in so quickly that he probably wasn't playing at his peak performance. So it's hard to tell where Stacks is going to be. But I mean, big shout out to him for getting the scrims in so quickly. That was huge. Then Johnny, like you said, it's a little bit disrespectful to have him down here, but it's that strong of a AAA field. He's someone that pretty consistently plays tough against the top teams. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he actually beat Heisman in a game last year in the AAA, and Heisman won the AAA championship. So Johnny's somebody that has the skill to do it, but can he keep it together for the course of a season?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two trend out. You definitely want to see some big improvement from Johnny. He did it in the AA. We'll see if he can do it in the AAA. And then Stacks, yeah, he's got a lot to prove, but I think he's already on his way to doing it, showing that work ethic. So that impressed me for sure. Whoa, we got an upgraded Falcons logo, ranked at 19. Whoa. We got Infinity, aka Too Easy, with the Falcons popping off the screen. He's got the Pirates and Rise and Fall, familiar face following him, Hall of Famer. Oh, and we got a new logo from this rookie here, Todd Gonzalez and the Breath Mints. Love that logo for KC over there too at rank 21. So nice little group. Nice visual switch up here too.
Yeah, we're busting out the logos here early. The Pirates always coming in hot, but this is actually one of my favorite of his color schemes for this well-known Pirates logo. And again, ranking Rise anywhere makes no difference. He's going to do what Rise does, which is, bust the nuts of the top players when they least expect it. Todd, I honestly don't know much about. I've actually talked to him, or at least we've had been in the same conversations over in the SMNL. I think Todd's going to be tough. I think this ranking is purely because he's new. And then Infinity, wow, busting out a tough logo. I think he really wants to do well, and I think he knows that the hitting is the only thing holding him back. I mean, he'll take people to 18 innings in 1-0 games. So, yeah, the Falcons are dangerous, much more dangerous than this ranking would probably suggest.
Sorry, you said bust the nuts, and I'm a little bit childish. We got Todd in here. I know is going to be a good player. I think 21's probably a little bit low for this guy based off the scrims. He's got a 7-6 record in the scrims, and what really stood out to me when I played him personally was the fact that he's a lot like it was only one game, so this is a lot to say, but he was a lot like Rick's in the sense of pitch style, where he forces you to be patient. And in the AAA, that's very much a weapon to have. We've seen Rick's make it to the finals with that weapon practically carrying him, because a lot of AAA players can't be patient enough to wait. for 2 or 3 balls every at bat, and that's what the Breathmints do. So he's someone I would expect to really lean on pitching, and when you lean on pitching, a lot of times that gets you into that middle ground of the AAA at minimum, which is very similar to Rise. He usually runs some stud SPs out there, and he's someone that forces you to have to beat him. He doesn't make mistakes, and he plays a lot of the top teams close. He's a Hall of Fame player, so he knows all the veterans in here and the tricks that work against him. So Rise back for another season. Love to see that, because I thought Rise wasn't going to play, so I'm glad that he jumped in. Then Infinity, like y'all said, he's got the upgraded logo. Glad there's no camo on there. He'd be getting trolled. It's a good logo that he's got going on, and he's back for his second season after he jumped in middle of last season, which was awesome, and was still able to play all of his games. Really, this entire group, this is a strong pitching group for the fact that they're 19, 20, 21. These are guys that you're looking at. It's going to be extremely tough to score on, but what do their bats do throughout the course of the season? They've got to improve their bats.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hitting improvement in this crew. I don't know much about Todd myself, but I'll be playing against him again soon, so we'll get to know each other. But Infinity and Rise, definitely, I know they personally want to score more runs, but they also know how to, sneak one out of your back pocket. They definitely get a good thrill out of that. We'll see how it goes up here on the rankings for 16, 17, and 18. We've got the Sandcats and Legit Fire, Albrat and the River Pirates, and Big O Brad coming up from the AA with that championship, and the Owls. Just want to shout out Legit Fire as well, because that's a homie who's been floating around since SMB2, locking in for a season here, first time with us actually playing. So what's up, man?
I know much less about Big O Brad than I should, but I do know that he's really been on a tear, and that's why he won the AA. So Big O Brad, we could possibly be sleeping on him. I considered putting him closer to even as high as like 13 to 15. I didn't really have enough input to do that. Albrat has been on fire. Albrat is another one that I think it's hard to know, because he struggled at this level before, but based on what he was doing last season, looked really good and is a good pitcher. Legit Fire is an unknown. I played him just recently. He really can pitch quite well. The bat is gonna need it's gonna need a little bit of experience against XBL type pitching, but he's definitely he's a dark horse type.
Really great group right here, and I think anyone that's been here for a few seasons is looking at people like Albrat and Rise and Fall down here so low, and they're like, wow, the AAA really is pretty insanely strong this season. With it being the biggest season ever, a lot of good players got put in there. Big O Brad, I got to shout out every Unicorn of the Week winner. He won it last season with this Owls team. He's got a new and improved Owls logo. And he won that championship in the AA last season as a rookie. Really displayed both sides of the game. When it started in the AA last season, he was really just a hitter. But improvement is what the AA is about, and by the time he got to the championship, his pitching was top-notch as well, and that's why he finds himself in the AAA, because you can't compete in the AAA without pitching, period. And he already has that bat, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get the adjustment to the skill level that is the AAA. And then you got Albrat, who really was the favorite as soon as he was in the AA last season because of his pitching. Insane pitcher. What was interesting to see is actually in the AA last season, Albrat was playing at AAA ego batting wise, and he was putting up a lot of runs. But there is a big skill gap between AA and AAA a lot of the times, and so we'll see if he can continue to hit the way he did with the improved pitching that he's going to face. If he can, Albrat's going to be one of the best pitchers. It's all up to his hitting. Then Legit Fire here at 16. Definitely disrespectful, but he's a rookie, so a lot of guys, I mean, you're not going to have much to really talk about on him, but in the scrims, Legit Fire went 8-3. He had a really good record, and I played him personally. He was good, and so I think I actually had Legit Fire in the top 5 for the AAA, so I'm surprised he's this low. He's someone that I definitely think out of the rookies, all 3 leagues, Legit Fire is going to be the biggest surprise. And don't let me down, bro, because now I just said that.
Yeah, Uni really just talked him up, so he's got a lot to live up to here. I mean, as long as you care if Uni's, proud of you or not or whatever. But we'll move on up now to ranks 13, 14, and 15. We've got Alex, Silly Power Ranger, and Codfine with the improved Anubis logo here in this crew. We got all veterans here in this group. Really interesting crew. All finished below 500 last season, but wanted to do better, and I think all have the potential to really use this as a springboard.
Yeah, I'm really shocked to see Cody down this low. But then again, Silly is a very good player. Pushed Spliffy to a very tough final game in the playoffs. And then Alec, I'm not totally sold on Alec. It felt to me like he was really relying on paying a high price for high price pitching last season. His bat is streaky. Like he can get going. I'm not sure because of how much he jacked his pitching.
Yeah, this is, another good group that I'm a little surprised by, and I'm specifically surprised by Codfine being this low. The way he was able to turn things around towards the end of last season and really get hot, and the fact that he was playing a lot of the offseason at a higher ego, I think Codfine is someone with the bat that has a chance to win a long ball award, and you can sacrifice pitching a little bit if you can hit that well, and he legitimately can hit that well. He was the AAA Rookie of the Year just last season, and he has a very good chance, I think, to win Most Improved this season and get himself into that top 7 category. So Codfine's someone that I think is rated pretty low, and is going to find himself higher than this come next roundup. And then you got Silly in here, who won the AA, showed that he was a really good pitcher in the AA with Devon Asen. Last season was his rookie year, or I guess it wasn't his rookie year in the AAA, but it felt like it was his rookie year to me. Silly's a good player on both sides. He's not going to destroy you on either side, but someone that's very much competitive when it comes to pitching and hitting. So it's about improvement for him yet again as he finds himself in the AAA. Then Alec, it was a rough start when he jumped back in 2 seasons ago, but last year we started to see more of the Alec that is a former XBL champ, where he started to turn it up. He got around 500 for his record. I don't know a whole lot about his roster. Like Miss said, that might have affected him a little bit, but I would see Alec as a 500 or better player this season, just based off the fact he's been here a few seasons in a row again now, so he's going to be more locked in than he was.
Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning, all 3 of these players have a springboard here to kind of jump off of. A lot of motivation here, especially from the ranking standpoint, and just from a personal record standpoint. I think they all want to do better. They all have the competitor in them to be able to do so. But it's a tough group as we're going to move up now closer to the top 10. We've got 10, 11, and 12 here. It's Corn Central and the Seawolves back for another go, followed by Hate and the Clocksmiths in a sophomore season with a brand new logo. New team, looks awesome. And Simon back with the Automatics.
Yeah, Simon didn't do as well as expected last season. He has a lot of talent, so we're going to rank him low, I think, this season. And just I don't know. We'll see. But he does have a lot of talent. Hate at 11 is completely wrong. I don't know who ranked him low. I had him way higher than this. I think Hate. Well, we'll get to Hate, I think, maybe later in the show. Corny is another one that we thought was going to take off last season and didn't quite do that. So I think Corny hasn't really put his heart into the game the way he can. But when Corny is cooking, like, you literally can't pitch to him. So, and he's really not a bad pitcher himself. So Corn Sensual, another dark horse that is probably his upside, kind of like myself and Hate and a couple others, the upside is really there. Jesus.
Yeah, Simon down here at 12. I mean, you could say he had a little bit of a rough season last season, but as a rookie, he went 16-20. Around 500 is a great rookie season, and what boded well for him was the fact he had the long ballo coming out of the AA. If you can swing the bat, that's going to very much help you going up in the ego more than pitching even, because a lot of times it's harder to adjust to the hitting. So you're just going to expect Simon to hit even better. It comes down to his pitching and how well he can locate. now because he had a 327 batting average last season. That's enough to get it done. I'd be interested to see his full pitching numbers, but at a 1.6 whip, I mean, you can see that it was probably runs scored that was his issue. And then we got Haight here, who I'm a little bit favoritism towards because he's my son, but I ranked him a little bit higher than this. At 11 is a beautiful spot for the guy though, because you love to see some motivation get brought up here in the first show. And I know Haight doesn't want to hear me talk about him like that, but it is what it is. And I know Mist, you're all over this guy obviously, and it's rightfully so. The dude can hit really well with the best of them. It's all about his pitching. I think he's got to have a little bit more of a pitcher's mindset more so than location. He can locate decently, but learning how to pitch to PvP style is a very big difference than CPU, and most of his experience is CPU. So very much a top 10 player. Then I think you described Korn perfectly, putting him in the group with you, and the fact that the potential is sky high. The potential is legitimately finals potential whenever he plays that high. But when I talk about Korn, I pretty much say the same thing every time. He has the highest peaks and valleys of anyone in the AAA. When he's not on, he's swinging way too often, and he really takes himself out of the ball game. But when he does slow down and he's able to hit and be patient, Korn can beat anybody. And so I think 10 makes sense for where he's at around the middle, because if he plays at his best, he's legitimately one of the best. But he could be all the way down at 15th by the end of the season if he's not patient at the plate.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential here to go one way or the other. I think a lot of these players have something to prove this season. Haight really wanting to jump off of that rookie season. Simon, like Mr. already said, wanting to impress, had some hype already going in last season that needs to get kind of like a little bit of a revisit, I would say. And then you got Korn, who produces time and time again, just needs to finish the job. So this is a really cool crew, and it's only into, just touching onto the top 10. So let's slide on up to 7, 8, and 9. This is a familiar group of faces if I've ever seen one. Rix is back with the Hippies logo again at rank number 7. That logo is something else. We love that from over there. The Base Bandits are back. He and I are a package deal, so all I had to do was call him up and tell him we were ready to go, and he signed himself up for the season. So you get yourself another dose of No Name at rank 8, and then Mystery Man's here with us, rank number 9. I think not as high as you want to be maybe ranked, but it's all about where you finish the season, and we got big plans for the Mystery Crew.
Well, on the bright side, this was higher than I ranked myself, albeit by only 1. But I'll be ready to go. I'm really excited about the season. So you're not going to get any freebies against the Mist. I was wondering what on earth got No Name even in here for this season. So it sounds like some kind of a phone call from the Drain Train got him in here, and I'm glad that he did, because he's a fun player. He's an awkward player. He's the most unconventional player we've probably ever seen. I'm
sorry.
And then, we've got both 70s teams on the same slide, so I'm happy. But no, Hippies, Hippies are going to be great. I mean, Hippies are always in the top 5-ish.
Yeah, when it comes to Mist, his biggest weapon is the fact that he's Mystery Man and that he knows the AAA so well because he's in this booth. And like I said before, very similar to Korn in the fact that we've seen just a couple seasons ago where Mystery Man went crazy and had a much higher seed than he did last season at 14th. Whenever Mist is hitting the ball consistently, he's a long ball low level hitter, but it's all about consistency with him. But Mist is someone that's going to put in the work, and he's going to have himself prepared. I expect a strong season out of Mystery Man and the Mist Inc. Good to see the Mist Inc. logo back. I don't know if you'll ever change that, but there's no reason to. Then we got the Base Bandits, who I'm sure a lot of people in the AAA were kind of hoping didn't sign up because of the shenanigans that he does on the base pass. All the rookies, you don't know No Name, bro. Get ready until you play No Name, because I'm just telling you right now, he's made people leave the league before. So just please don't leave the league when you play No Name. It's super annoying, and you'll sit there at the end of the game and be like, how did I lose? The guy had like 4 hits. Okay, well he had 6 walks and he stole 15 bases. So that's what the Bandits do, and he's a really tough out, and he's a former XBL player as well as a Hall of Famer. So someone you have to have respect for. Then Rick's here at 7. a little bit disrespectful. The dude was in the finals a few seasons ago. He was 4th last season, yet he finds himself 7th in these rankings. And like I brought up earlier with Todd Gonzalez or whatever his name was, sorry, I don't know you super well yet. Super patient pitcher, which for some batters they can handle that, but for a lot of the AAA they cannot handle 2 or 3 balls. And when I talk about 2 or 3 balls, you're going to see 2 or 3 balls every single at bat for 9 innings, and that's Rick's style. And then when you have a guy on first, he's the absolute king at getting double plays. He found himself in the AAA World Series a few seasons ago, practically purely off of getting out of jams for an entire playoff run. That's who he is. So I think Rick's is going to find himself in the top 5 again. 7th is low for a guy like him, and he's got probably the best logo in the league. I don't know if hippies exist in Tokyo, but it's the Hippies Tokyo Club, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, love the logo. Love the crew here. A lot of veteran potential. We're only going to see some more, I think, as we slide up the board here. Ranks 4, 5, and 6. You've got Ed and the Sirloins, Ty and the Tyranics, and Skull, a.k.a. Yeezus, and the Lecheros back for another go. A ton of power in ranks 5 and 6 with Ty and Skull. Eduardo, kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum, more of the crafty player. But I think, I don't know, a lot of people are going to say Ty a little low here.
Well, let's start with the Milks. The Milks are going to try to out-hit you, and most of the times they will accomplish that. Ty, you know, there's so many holes in his game that it's really kind of sad. But on the other hand, he's such a great hitter, and he really loves to hit. He loves to hit. So I think, you know, Ty is definitely, I think, could go either way. I don't know. I mean, he could easily win it all, but he could kind of, he's not going to fall worse than like 10th, but, you know, for somebody who's already played XBL, that would be ridiculously low. So I think 5 is sort of fair. Ed is a great player. Ed is consistent, and that's why he's ranked so high. Ed is very consistent, so there's no reason Ed shouldn't be in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think
Really good group.
Sorry, I forgot you still had to go. Go ahead.
Forgot I'm that guy. I got to talk too. All right. Yeah, when you get into this group right here in the top 6, I mean, it's easy to say, but it's very much true. This is where you start looking at people that you expect to be in the semifinals or win the whole thing. Skull, really good player last season when he came back in with 23-13 record. Absolute masher. I believe Mist knocked him out of the playoffs in a really insane playoff series that was awesome to watch. And I think the Lecheros are going to be back into that top 5 category because of the way they can bat. Other than Ty, I mean, it's weird to say he was hard to rank because in the AAA last time he was so dominant, broke so many records for how well someone can hit in the AAA. And I think he's getting a little bit of hate because he just dropped down from the XBL. But if Ty is back to the form he was at a couple seasons ago when he was in the AAA, I don't see anyone beating him. He's not a good pitcher, just straight up not a good pitcher, but he doesn't need to be because he will literally score 12 runs a game on you for an entire season. If that version of Ty is there, then AAA is going to be in for a lot of pain. But if he's not hitting it the way he used to do, Ty could definitely fall down, like Miss said, to around 10 if he's not consistent with that bat because he relies so heavily on the bat. Then Eduardo, who's found himself in the semifinals, it feels like, for every season that I've been here. He plays his game. He's got his sirloin, super creative logo from the guy. You know he loves creation and customization, but someone that is pretty much impossible to get a sweep on. 20-16 last season's the lowest I think I've seen Ed go for a season, so you're going to expect more out of him this year. And when you look at title favorites, Eduardo is up there. Even though he's at 4, he's got to be, you know, talked about as possibly the favorite to make the finals because of the fact he's such a vet.
Yeah, I was going to say before I really interrupted Uni was that you can really start changing people around here in the top like 9, and all rankings would be justifiable in some way, shape, or form. This is, you know, that's the AAA gauntlet, as they call it. It starts to develop up here around the top 10. And we saw how it played out last season. We're going to see how it plays out this season. We're going to take it up to the top 3. We've got Split in the Matrix, Elron, and the Help Deskers. And then I have myself down there at number 3 for the Motor Sox. So exciting crew here. I think exactly what you might expect with that top 2. Again, you could have swapped me with any of the other guys we just talked about probably and be pretty happy.
Yeah, actually, the 1 and 2 here is exactly what I had. I think you have to put the Matrix first, just because of his consistency of taking care of business. He's going to get a very high seed heading into the playoffs. Now, his bat is shaky, so if he's facing Yeezus, myself, Elron, even Train, who can run and put up 6, 7, 8 runs, it does become harder than taking care of people in the middle or even at the bottom. But I still think he has to be the number 1 rank. That's why I put him there. Elron wasn't fantastic in the playoffs, but he still has enough bat and has improved his pitching just barely enough that you have to believe in him and being a top player, probably to the semis at least. And then Train has already won AAA. This is really an XBL player that, just because of the improvement of others, maybe a couple off seasons, has dropped down, having a lot of fun in the AAA. But he's a good player, can pitch at times really well, and seems to, in my opinion, have a flair for the dramatic. He has I swear he has more walk-offs than anybody, probably. Certainly in AAA in quite some time. So, of course, the motos are going to be tough.
Yeah, Motor Stocks are super overrated here at 3, but I mean, he's someone that's won the AAA before. No, I'm just kidding, Dwayne. 20 and 16 was a little bit. It's almost like he doesn't really care about the regular season a whole lot, and he doesn't necessarily have to. He won the AAA as a 10 seed not long ago, and he was just, I think, a game away from making it to the semis last year as a 9 seed. And you can see he's got the commissioner tag on his notes, which means the league office is going to have some sort of say in the way his playoff run is going to go. Motor Sox, one of the best roster builds each season because he's a vet, someone that has success in the AAA, and someone that when playoffs start, he turns it on to another level. So someone that he's not much of a, let's care a whole lot about his regular season seed. When he gets in the playoffs and he starts actually putting in full effort, that's when the Motor Sox are a problem. Then Elron made it to the semis last year, ran into the freight train that was Heisman, and it was really no fault of Elron's him losing. Heisman pitched so well that he negated that bat that Elron has, where he was able to win the long ballo. He's an absolute masher the way he can hit at, I believe he plays at Golden Field, and his pitching really is plenty fine as well, which is how he gets himself up to this number 2 spot. You gotta have both sides, but the only thing I think standing in Elron's way is a pitcher like Spliff there at number 1, because the only way to beat Elron is to be absolutely dominant on the mound with your location, and that's why I think Spliff, for me, as well as a lot of these guys, was number 1, because Spliff is most likely going to win the Von Asen, I would imagine. When I'm looking up and down the league, Spliff seems like by far the best pitcher in the AAA, and the beauty of Spliff Star and his roster is that, we actually just talked about this the other day, he doesn't have to spend a whole lot on his pitching to still give you like a sub-2 ERA. He had some crazy streak last year of like, I don't know what the number, Spliff, say it in the chat. It was like 60 innings straight that he didn't give up a run or something insane like that. And then, like Mystery Man touched on, it's his bat that can be a problem. He's going to have a high seed, but you can't be streaky with the bat in the playoffs, because 2 or 3 bad games with the bat and you put yourself in too much of a hole where the RNG can cost you a game and you lose a series. And that's kind of what happened to Spliff last season. But when you're a Von Asen pitcher, you're going to have a top seed. It's all about the bat with Spliff Star. And also worth noting that, in my opinion, he has the best roster in the AAA.
Yeah, a lot of work been done for Spliff Star in the AAA. I think it's all about the payoff here for him. Ranked number 1, well-deserved. Elron as well, coming off the World Series, runner-up as it was. He has a really, really good chance to win it as well. And I'm just glad to be here. Like you guys said, playing in the regular season's fun. Playing in the playoffs is a hell of a lot better. And once you're in there, you're in there like swimwear. So I don't care who I play or when, and it's going to be a really fun AAA. It's all about this gauntlet here that we just went over. Seeing everybody listed in front of you, seeing how it all plays out in the end is the most important part of this big league that we play here at that sweet spot right at 87, where we can get real inclusive and have some players that are still working on stuff, and some players that are overdue for some success, and some people that are just some real developing type whoppers that kind of come out of nowhere. So love the AAA for what it is, and it's been a long time coming for another good season. So exciting stuff. Now we're going to resurrect Mama Junjun and Zlot. My guys, welcome back to the show, as we're going to take it over to the XBL preview for season number 20. And I don't know who wants to take it away first, but we've got ranks 19, 20, and 21. We got Fizzy, Julio in the Aces, and Heisman coming up here. Oh yes, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Elron was not our runner-up, it was Julio last season on both of our AAA finalists here at the bottom of the XBL rankings.
I suppose I can start here.
Mama, thank you.
Yep, so 3 rookies is really the timeline here. I mean, Heisman clearly won the World Series, and for AAA, you might be wondering, why is he last? I think some people are just more favoriting the bat first mentality that Julio has. And then, yeah, Julio, hey, he did get very close to winning the AAA. He got the runner-up, fantastic hitter, but the pitching is a little bit skeptical. And then Fizzy, who I know a lot of us SMNL players know him. I think he's going to be one of the greatest risers in the XBL. Can hit, can pitch pretty well. It was really a question of whether he'll play AAA or XBL, but we'll think he'll suit in pretty well here.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with all points there. Heisman, tip of the cap, of course, coming off the heels of a championship there in the AAA, and hoping to ride some of that wave into their freshman season here, their initial rookie season of the XBL in season 20. A lot to look forward to. I think he's a pitch first kind of player, but his bat can get pretty streaky, so watch out for that. Sort of on the flip side though, Julio is almost the opposite, where his bat is way more lethal, but his pitching is going to need to be cleaned up a bit to find success. We'll have to see how he progresses through the season, because I think there's still a little room for his bat to improve, and it's already so good. So there's not going to be any easy wins in the XBL this season, that's for sure. It's a deep crew that we're going to run with, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then Fizzy, I don't know much about. Of course, I'm aware that they participate in the SMNL, of course, so bit of a wild card there, but would be happy to see them find a lot of success here in their rookie season.
Yeah, in the age of the development league with AAA and the AA, you don't see a lot of those XBL wild cards come out of nowhere as rookies, as you once did when there was only one league to be in. For us OGs who might remember stuff like Axel, just appearing out of nowhere and, kind of just raising the caliber of the league in the moment. So we'll see what Fizzy's got. Seems like a lot of good talk so far. And shout out to our AAA guys coming up. Let's check out 16, 17, and 18. We've got Galaxy, another new player who's been ranked higher than Fizzy. So that's a shout out. I think that cup run did him a favor. We got Tap and the Flower Bombs on another return here to the XBL for a third season, and Zlot and the Hobbs, I think, with something to prove down at rank number 18, looking for some more resounding success after bouncing back up.
Yeah, I also like to mention the nice little professional suggestioner on Heisman's little tab on the last slide. I like that a lot. We all know that's pretty true. But yeah, I think this slide really shows how deep XBL this season. Like, the fact that Zlat is at 18 and Teflon's at 17 in a season is like insane to me, because I typically think them as just higher up simply. Zlat can really beat anybody. I mean, he's 3-3 against Mush all time, so if he catches them in the playoff series, anything's really possible. Teflon, he keeps getting better. I mean, he's playing on high egos in the SMNL. He's just killing it, really. He hits the ball really hard. I mean, 15 and 21 last season's pretty solid. And then Galaxy, a rookie, I think they could also be very good. I scrimmed them, I want to say, maybe 3 or 4 times, and they are very tough. I think they're very well-rounded. Yeah, I think they could be a big riser.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I typically find myself playing spoiler here, so I'm just sort of happy to be here at this point. We'll see if I can put a strong season together, but yeah, looking to improve, of course. We'll see how things go. For Teflon, like you said, it's kind of surprising to see him down this low, but I mean, someone has to be here, so I guess it just happens to be their name on the tag. One thing I'll mention about last season for Teflon, because they did make the playoffs, they did finish as the 12th seed. But there was a bit of a statistical outlier of sorts, and their run differential was so much worse than a couple teams below them. So we'll have to see if maybe that was just some close games that they eked out, or if that was just a bit of a statistical anomaly, and maybe they'll kind of rise up in the ranks a bit, because that was something that was really kind of unexpected. But happy to see Teflon return, of course. Really balanced on the hitting and pitching side. And then Galaxy, yeah, I don't know too much about, of course, except for their cup performance. I think they've been pretty lethal in scrims. So another rookie here. We're excited to see how far their success will rise this season.
Yeah, all these players, want to do better, because this is right below the playoff cutoff. And if it's a 16-team playoff, or if it's 14-team playoff, excuse me, I don't want to misspeak. Maybe it should be 16 now. I'll put it out there. I do kind of I do be involved in making the rules and stuff, so I'll put that out there. Anyway, interesting crew here. I think everybody wants to make the playoffs this season. They got, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and everybody else above them is going to have to watch out as we move up to 13, 14, and 15, where we see AJ on the comeback, followed by Vegan also on the comeback, and Ted, who said he wasn't going to play again, but is playing again. Didn't take much convincing though this time. He did it on his own, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely happy to have, I think, all three of these guys back. I think actually Ted did play last season. I mean, Ted has the track record. 10 XBL seasons, still above 500 all time. Just watch out for Heathcliff Winkleson. I hate him. Bad ball hitter. He will legitimately hit a home run on you every single game. It's that simple. Pretty well-rounded player. I just think it comes down to the team building for him. I think his bullpen can sometimes be a little lackluster. And then for Vegan and AJ, I kind of think of them as the same player. Both real contact forward, like slap hitting singles up the middle, some base running from time to time. The pitching isn't exactly where you'd want it to be, but they can both definitely still get it done when they need to.
Yeah, good to see Ted return. He and I shared a dramatic play-in game that I was, fortunate to come out ahead on. Although my reward was playing mush, so I wouldn't exactly call it the most fun, but definitely glad to see him here, and really interested to see what kind of changes he makes to the roster, because I think he had one of the more balanced approaches across the league. Of course, everyone's familiar with Heathcliff Winkleson just being an absolute menace at the plate, having to deal with that problem. So I don't really look forward to that, but happy to see Ted here on our list. Vegan returning, of course, as well. I think Vegan has some pretty insane BABIP numbers, just really good at putting the bat on the ball, and that's gonna, reap a lot of rewards as well. Just putting the ball in play can do a lot of good. So see how their pitching does and see how things shake out over the season, but they're going to be a team to keep an eye on. And yeah, AJ, bit of a firehouse here. They pack a punch at the plate, and it leaves a little bit to be desired on the pitching side of things, but this is, SMB is just a game of, scoring runs. Like, if your offense is good enough, you're bound to make the playoffs and then try to have a deep run. So looking forward to AJ's return here as well. Happy to see him joining us again.
Yeah, love seeing all these players on the list. Season 20 has brought about a lot of returns up here in the XBL. We're just kind of getting started on saying hi to some old faces. So love seeing everybody here at 13, 14, and 15. Let's move up to 10, 11, and 12, where we've got Coffee and the Banjos after a really impressive first XBL season, followed up by Uni and the Unicorns, and then Ice and the Gex, who impressed in his first XBL season as well. So just a couple of good call-ups from last season. You guys take it away.
I know Uni's very happy to be just one ahead of Burning Ice. I think that's pretty perfect given their track record. But yeah, Ice, phenomenal pitcher. Definitely split me last season. Can also hit for some power. You wouldn't expect it if you look at the numbers. 200 batting average, but it really feels like anytime they hit the ball, it will go pretty far. As for Uni, definitely more well-rounded. He's the youngest player in the league at 11 years old, so shout out to him. 18, just looking to improve. Definitely a tougher pool this season, but I think he can still make the jump. Maybe that top 8s kind of spot. And then Black Coffee, I think he's a real sleeper this season. He's got the power, the pitching is getting there, the team is well constructed, as he's kind of just a veteran of the AAA, obviously now in XBL. Fantastic player, and I think he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all those points, especially Uni's age. Burning Ice, I'll mention statistically, I mean, it's a very small sample size in it being only one season, but his left on base percentage is a .791, and that's the highest of all active XBL players this season. So small sample size, but the numbers don't lie in the sense that he truly does know how to spin it up there on the mound. So very much a problem. Uni, not a lot to say here. I have some bad blood during the regular season against him, but he has improved so much. It has been really enjoyable to see his progression from the AA, and he always makes a name for himself. He always seems to find himself in the playoffs here in the XBL. He's not missed out on it yet, and I think that's going to ring true again here in season 20. And like you said with Black Coffee, does it really well on both sides of the ball. So I think Coffee is going to try to probably make a run for Long Balla this season. We're going to have to see what kind of improvements he's made roster-wise heading into season 20, but I think everyone is kind of keep a close eye on the Banjos.
Yeah, close eye on the Banjos, close eye on the Unis, close eye on Ice, close eye on everybody here. This is a tight group. I said that about every group nearly because it's so difficult to differentiate players at the top of the game like this. But I think these three are all kind of in a well-deserved portion spot because, again, they're going to be on that borderline of the playoffs, but they could easily make it. A couple games could easily go their way, a couple of games could easily not. Thing to highlight for Ice, I just want to say, like, the dude's up here with a 200 batting average. He did make the playoffs last season. He's an animal. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out on the hill. It's pretty impressive to watch. But nearly the same career whip as Uni, funnily enough. Anyway, Uni's actually maybe a decent pitcher. You guys did a really good job on these rankings. It's exciting to see everybody back for another go around in the XBL. Let's see who's got 7, 8, and 9. Oh, it's M. Bennings in the Dog Pound, fresh off a Cup championship, a 2-time Cup champion, now joining Lazy with that title. And then we've got Flash and the Flashertons at rank 8, and then the return of Weaver and the Beavers at rank number 9. It's awesome to see Beavers back. A big one here for season 20. Exciting. Look at all the accolades. Look at the whip. Look at the Beaver. It's great to see him.
Yeah, it really is. I think this top 9, anybody from here on out could make the semis and win the championship. I mean, all phenomenal players. Yeah, Weaver, very nice to see back. Hasn't played since season 16, so it's been a bit. Didn't quite play how he wanted to, but I don't really care. Honestly, I think he has the ability to win it all. I mean, the pitching is there. The team name is there. I mean, I don't want to be that guy to say aura, but I don't know. He has aura, I guess. And then at 8, you got Flash. Once again, another guy who can just hit for power. I mean, leave it over the middle, it's gone. I mean, you see 15 XBL season, 4-time champion, 4-time Long Balla. He's got it all. The pitching is also phenomenal. He ran that like $100,000 closing pitcher last season. Then you have M. Bennings, like you said, right off the Cup championship. I think that might be his second, I want to say. Great player, very well-rounded. I want to say more of a pitcher than a hitter, but he can definitely do it great on both sides.
Yeah, some incredible returnees this season that we'll go over, and we're going to kick it off here with Weaver, the 3 in a row, seasons 11, 12, and 13. Some of you might know him as Young Weaver with the mixtape drops. I'll have to hope and pray that we get another one before season 20 kicks off, but super, super awesome to see him make his return. Like you said, had a bit of a whimpering season 16 exit. I think he had a play-in game and is a bit forgettable, but the Beavers legacy is looking to add some more hardware. Gonna have to see how they do in the return here in season 20. The Flash, always a formidable opponent, can really pitch well, can equally hit for power, like you said. Mr. 4-time, and it's just going to be interesting to see if Flash has a strong connection. Do we want to throw that out there? I don't know if Flash is going to have the hardware to compete for a title, but I hope he proves me wrong here. It'd be awesome to see him join Lazy in being the only ones to get 5 title championships here in the XBL. And then M. Bennings, like Dwayne mentioned, hot off of a second Cup victory. and Bennings always plays you close. He's not known for hitting for power, but he can, run and hit for contact really well. And then he's probably best known for his pitching. So he's someone who never gives up. He's a grinder, and I think it's a hard-earned rank 7 here for sure.
Yeah, definitely hard-earned rank 7 for M. Bennings. I was just thinking to myself, a lot that he's accomplished. We're lacking on Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers, but you start to look at the accolades up the list if they're not already in it. I mean, players like M. Bennings, the resume starts to build and build and build, man. The dog pound, doing a good job. But yeah, welcome back to the Beavers. The Flasherton's always understated, I think, in a lot of these. When you look at 284 and 166, a lot of that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So looking for him to prove something this season. Let's take it up to 4, 5, and 6. Mush and the Curse, Luke and the Mallards, and Ox and the Holograms. Luke on the comeback, sandwiched by these two players just laden with recent success. Mush recently with the no-hitter, Ox in the Hall of Fame, fighting for top 4. I mean, this is quite the crew. It makes you wonder who's above them at 1, 2, and 3.
Yep, completely agreed. I mean, Ox looking to be the first person to win all 3 leagues. He's got AA, he's got AAA. All he needs is XBL. Fantastic hitter, also one of the best rosters in the league. He builds to his strengths, which he knows very well. The pitching is also phenomenal. And then you got Luke, also returning. Got runner-up in his last season played. He was incredible. I guess McDonald's Wi-Fi, which is, not ideal, but still. He hits incredible. His pitching can sometimes be a little questionable, but I think if he actually tries, I think he can be perfectly fine with some off speed at the top of the zone. Real question for him is if he can catch up to the velocity. If he can, I think he's almost a finals lock. And then Mush made the semis last season, 30-6. I mean, he's awesome. Won the Von Asen. Really, probably the best slap hitter in the league. All of his rallies seem to be started by just singles up the middle. Just fantastic player.
Yeah, another trio of greats here. Ox, RIP to his AC. Hopefully he can get that fixed before the season starts. But he's had a lot of success, continues. He has the linear success rate. So we're gonna have to see if that continues here in season 20. Could this be the year of the hollows? We'll have to stay tuned to find out. Luke's return. Hopefully his connection is crisp and clean. But I think Luke is almost like a sleeper, even though he's up here at 5, and some people might even argue he's been, such as Uni might think he's ranked a little high. That's probably just because those people haven't seen Luke play at his peak. And I think Luke is probably going to be a little hungry, a little eager to prove himself, especially with some of these bigger names that have returned this season. So I for sure will not be underestimating the Mallards. And last, of course, is Mush here. The San Diego Curse had another phenomenal season. Fell a little bit short. Took me out in their playoff run, of course. That was a banger of a series. But like Mama said, probably the best slap hitter in the league. And he just always has an answer. He always finds a rally, finds a way to get it done. Finished with only 6 losses last season. Are you kidding me? I think Mush is someone that, if you come up against him, especially in the playoffs, you're not happy to see him on the other side. You'd much rather see this team on the other side of your bracket. So this entire trio of teams is going to be explosive to watch here in season 20.
Yeah, each one of them has a bone to pick with all the players above and below them, I think, for a championship. And it's going to be a really, really big XBL gauntlet as season 20 has brought everybody out of the woodwork. As we'll move on up to 1, 2, and 3 to see the return of the 5-time champion, Lazy, at rank number 1. The only man who could displace the current champion, Wishbone, who's there at rank number 2, and Mama Junjun himself at rank number 3. I mean, what a crew here. Again, they're all laden with hardware. The records are insane. The averages are insane. The whips are even lower than the guys that we just looked at. What a group. Really, really excited to see what these 3 bring us.
Yeah, I won't really talk about myself here. I just wanna take it home. But as for Wishbone, I mean, I could genuinely talk for an hour about this guy. Playing him in the World Series was like hell, but impressive hell. He would literally hit everything. His pitching was incredible. I mean, 3-time Von Asen. He has a perfect game. I mean, he really does it all, and I think he's the most likely person to take down Lazy, who is at that one spot. Yeah, only 20 losses all time is just ridiculous. He could wake up from a nap, log on, score 10 runs in 2 innings, turn off his PC, go back to bed. I mean, he's really just that good. His hitting is the best on the planet. His pitching can get by. I think his numbers can sometimes be a little deflated because he doesn't really play a whole lot of innings because he mercies so many batters. But yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's, give yourself some credit here, MJ. Being up here at 3 is clearly no small feat with all the hardware of the teams that were preseason ranked below you. But the Civ just need to find that last, that answer. They made it to the World Series in the previous season, so they're going to be very hungry, I'm sure, to try to, be able to get a top seed early and hang on to it so that they have less tough teams along the way. We saw that, nobody was able to, I don't know. I feel like Mama doesn't give himself enough credit sometimes. So we'll see if he can turn that around. But of course here, number 2, Wish, winning the World Series for the first time. Congrats to Wish, the first to win a AAA and XBL World Series. All the other hardware, of course, is very well earned. But it does fall short when you compare it to the literal GOAT in Lazy. 20 losses all time, as MJ pointed out, is ridiculous. Lazy has, I guess technically Flash has more career home runs, but he's also played like 6 or 7 more seasons. Lazy's, all of his stats are ridiculous. Just go look him up on the website. They're absolutely insane. And we're very glad to see him return here for a big kickoff in season 20.
Yeah, this is as big as it gets. Season 20 has a kind of a ring to it. It's cool to see people come back and play for it. It's just great to see the competition rise each and every day, because that's something that's never ceased to occur with the XBL, and I think will never cease to occur as long as we can still play Super Mega Baseball. So good to see everyone here. Great job by Mama and Zlot here on the XBL rankings. Great job by Mist and Uni on AAA and the AA as well. Everyone did such a good job. It was great to see everybody's logos that are already submitted, or if you already had your historics in there, Wishbone hooked you up with that. If you haven't already submitted your logo, that's why you got a placeholder. But yeah, going forward now, we got some predictions for you from all of the casters and beyond. We've got a couple extra casters too that aren't here with us tonight that threw in some World Series predictions. There's no final call here, but it's kind of like a 1 versus 1 thing. We're going to take it around the round table here for everyone to kind of take a gander at. Let me adjust my screen for my colleagues here so they can maybe get a better look at what I'm looking at. It might not be the perfect look, but there you go. So yeah, with that being said, again, we're going to look at some World Series predictions from our friends who are not here with us tonight and also here with us tonight. And we are going to start off with No Hummus. And No Hummus only submitted us 1 prediction for a World Series, but he actually went ahead and went all the way with it. So he's going to start us off here tonight with an XBL Mush over Lazy in 7 in the World Series. So yeah, pretty standard XBL prediction here. If anyone's got something to drop onto that, we can follow up or move on to the next one.
I guess I can say something.
Go ahead, Yenny.
I agree with Hummus here. If anyone is gonna beat Lazy, it seems like Mush is probably the most likely, just based off the fact that Mush, the last time Lazy played, pushed Lazy to Game 6 of a World Series, and honestly, he got a little bit unfortunate, or that thing would have went to 7 games. So the style of pitching that Mush has, I think it makes sense for him to be No Hummus's favorite to actually win against someone like Lazy.
Yeah, keep it moving, Joanne. I might actually have my piece to say here in a bit.
Alrighty, we're going to take it on over to Spliff Star in the top left corner. We're going to check out what he's got for us. And Spliff has, if I could see it for myself, Mama versus Lazy, and then Spliff versus Dwayne. Oh, I like that one. And Prez versus Kawashi in the AA. So definitely another Lazy shout out here. I'm just gonna go ahead and say thanks, Spliff. I hope to see you there. That would be really, really fun, because that would be one of the most hype matchups of all time. And Prez, I think, due for a shout out. Kawashi aching for a AA. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think all three of these matchups would be incredible, and I could also see them being very realistic. I mean, Split versus Dwayne would be incredible.
Let's take it on over to the people who are here now. So this will be a little bit more constructive. We'll take it over to Zlot and his predictions. And we'll see Zlot with a Mush versus Lazy. To follow up, that kind of ties in with Hummus is there. We've also got Ty versus Skull, a heavy hitter matchup in the AAA. And Malik versus Kawashi in the AA. Two players who are long overdue for a title there. Zlot, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'd love to echo Hummus there. If it goes to 7 games, that would be probably the best, objective viewership gift we could receive is a 7-game World Series. But I think Mush just has the tool set to really push people to their limits and kind of overtake them in high octane situations. So we'll see how that goes. But I also think Ty, coming down to the AAA, he's got to remind people, who he is and about all the records that he broke in season 16. So Skull, I think, also carries the firepower to get there. We're just gonna have to see if he can be consistent enough. And Malik versus Kawashi is just a banger of a matchup, as kind of just the two names that caught my eye when I was filling the question out earlier. But AA is just so tough because their regular season goes into a round robin, so they're almost playing 2 seasons, and it's just really hard to predict how things are going to shake out before that. But overall, I think the AA is going to be probably the best yet.
Yeah, 2 shoutouts already for Kawashi too, so that's interesting to see versus different opponents. Anyone else have anything to add to Zlats? No, we'll take it on over to Uni now. So Uni, let's see what you got. We've got Wish versus Lazy in the XBL World Series. That's a 1v2 after what we just saw. He's got Legit Fire with a shout out versus Elron. I like the matchup there. We're getting really creative with the AAA on everyone's matchup so far. And then J3 versus Prez. That's the first note for J3 and a second for Prez. Uni, you got any follow up on that?
Yeah, so like I said, I agree with Hummus that if anyone's going to beat Lazy, it's going to be Mush, which I'm sure Wishbone is sitting here like, bro, I just dominated the World Series and I get no respect. But I think it comes down to play styles, and so I kind of picked Wish with the assumption that Mush is going to get beat in the semis by one of those 2 guys, and then Lazy is going to do that bull crap where he wins it for like the 100th time. And then in the AAA, I mean, shout out Legit Fire again. I mean, I wanted to get a little bit spicy, but he's a rookie that has been really impressive whenever you've looked at his scrim record and the things he's done. And then Elron, like I said, has the best bat in the AAA now that Julio's gone. And what stopped him last year was the fact that Heisen was an insane pitcher. But I think if Elron doesn't have to face Spliff Star, then I see him going to the World Series. Then J3 versus Prez. J3 was just there and Prez was there 2 seasons ago, so it was really the easiest option to pick in the AA. Like, yeah, the 2 guys that are ranked in the top 3 that have been there before.
Yeah, solid picks for sure. Like I said, I like the creativity as well with the AAA, Wish and Lazy, and really nice shout out. J3, a big dark horse kind of type guy who's long overdue. But yeah, anyone else want to add anything to Unis? We'll move on
I
now.
just like the Legit Fire pick.
Yeah, really like the Legit Fire pick. Just gonna justify his hater fuel from that ranking earlier. We saw that in chat. We definitely saw that. All right, we're gonna move on now to Mystery Man. Mist, what's up, dude? We got XBL Mush versus Mama. I like the switch up here. We've seen everybody on this on the combo here, but not a Mush versus Mama. And then Split versus Mist deep in the AAA playoffs. Again, a really cool AAA pick. And then J3 versus Kawashi. J3, another shout out. Kawashi, a third AA shout out. Mystery Man, what do you got here?
Well, it's an interesting XBL finals. It's kind of funny. I was watching you show everybody else's picks, and I was thinking, wow, it's interesting that I'm surprised Mush is getting picked to be in the finals, and then I see that I picked him in the finals.
We did do this right before the show.
Right. Yeah. No. So that's a good segue, Train. So I come home after just an absolutely brutal day. It was a good day, but just a brutal day of thinking. So, when Dwayne asked me for these picks, AAA, I couldn't think of any players, so I picked myself. And then the obvious number 1, which is really kind of funny, because my whole goal with this entire show was to pick Hate to win it all. So sorry, Hate, you're not going to win it all. Apparently, it's going to be split for myself.
Yeah, or Hate. I'm gonna add that.
Or Hate. Yes, put that on there. Thank you.
Add that in there, and then I'll do a little transition there. Boom. And then we'll take it over to Mama June and go for his predictions. I love that, Miss. That's pretty good. At least the honesty is really what made that even more fun. So that's great. And Mama, you got Mama himself versus Lazy. I love that. I love the audacity there to pick yourself, especially after the season you just had. Go back and get it, man. You're going to go up against the GOAT. And then there's a shout out for Hate versus Ty. So to segue right off of Mystery Man, we go right into the AAA pick for Hate versus Ty. Ty getting another shout out. And then Malik versus Delta's World for the AA and Mama Junjun. That's a nice creative pick there, I think, for Delta's World. Rookie shout out there, Malik getting a second.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to win so bad. I'm going to hopefully come back from some calculus at like 4 p.m. one day, play some sets, boom. And as for AAA, this is kind of like my ball knowledge pick. I think Hate has looked really good in the times I've played him. I think he's hitting the off-speed pitches really well. And then Ty obviously dropping down from XBL. I mean, we've seen his AAA numbers. I mean, he literally set records in his second AAA season. So incredible. And then for AA, Malik versus Delta's World. I think Delta's is really good. Like, I played him in scrims. I think the batting was just incredible. He didn't really have any flaws from what I saw. And then Malik, I mean, he's a grinder. I don't think I've ever really seen him get mad at a game, which is pretty impressive. He's always very positive. I think he's got a good shot.
Yeah, all players here on your list have a more than an outside chance of winning their respective league. I like all the picks. Delta's World, I've heard a really lot of good things about in the scrims. Ty, we know, can hit. Hate, we know, has made a huge improvement. Swept me last season, personally. I had to bring that up on this here at a certain point. And would love to see you versus Lazy in a World Series. Would love to see anybody versus Lazy in a World Series if anybody can take him down. So we'll take it over to mine real quick before we head on to the opening day matches. In this one here, I've got Flash versus Lazy. I went with, probably the one that you might think I would. And then myself versus Mist in the AAA finals. I'm not going to be, creative enough to not pick myself. But Mystery Man, I think, is long overdue, and I need to see him in those finals face to face for 7 games. I don't like a 2-game set. I would like more than 2, because in 2 he usually handles me a little bit more than I would like. And then in Bo Dangles and Malik's case, I think Bo Dangles is an unsung hero of the AA. And deserves a shout out here tonight. And then I didn't even mean to follow the crowd with the Malik pick, but he's getting a lot of love.
That's a good pick. Bo Dangles is a good pick.
Yeah, Bo Dangles, I think, a uni of the week and a AA veteran in that group of players that came in together. Long overdue. So yeah, that's it for our prediction segment. We're going to screenshot this and revisit it later. This is something that I think is going to be a little bit more functional than our hot takes, to see if we can, get any blood out of the end of the season and see where we ended up. It's pretty exciting. So now we'll take it over to the opening day matches of the week. What do you say, folks? We're going to get to see who's playing each other and when for opening day this weekend. And we've decided to do something slightly different, as we've got the games spread across 2 nights. We've got a doubleheader on Saturday, meaning the games will commence on Saturday night at the traditional time after the 9 p.m. set. And on Sunday, we have a nightcap for the weekend with the AAA. So on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we've got Jay versus Prestone starting off with the AA, and at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we've got Burning Ice versus Heisman, 2 back-to-back AAA World Series winners in their respective seasons, going at it to start the XBL. And then on Sunday night, Too Easy's going versus Big O Brad, 2 AA formers. Brad with the title. Too Easy had that huge AA run before he came up last season, so it's just going to be really, really exciting to see all these players play. Anyone want to take it away? Just talk about any of these matchups.
I want to talk about Easy versus Brad. I didn't realize how great I was kind of, like I said, busy today. But Brad versus Easy, that's a fantastic matchup for AAA. So hopefully I'll be on that one. Ice Heisman is very interesting. They're both pitch first, and I think Heisman being slept on a little bit. Of course, he's going to be ranked at the very bottom just because he's a rook. J3 Prestone, again, those are top players in the double A. That's a coin flip. If I was going to pick one person to win, well, it'd be Ice. I think Ice has the best chance to win on opening day.
Well, the only thing I really want to say about the matchups is that Ice versus Heisman series. I would agree that Ice obviously has the advantage after a good rookie XBL season. But if you're Heisman coming into the XBL going up ego, Burning Ice might be the best player you want. Like, he might be the first player that you want to see because he's not going to give you velocity that you have to adjust to at 93 ego. You're going to see 95% curveballs, and that's something much more hittable for someone that's going up in the ego. So that actually bodes well for Heisman. It's going to come down to how he can pitch. And Burning Ice just literally guesses at the plate. So if he guesses right like 3 times, he's got 3 home runs. But if Heisman can adjust to the curveball, I mean, I think that's going to be a really good starting set.
Yeah, I think all great matchups here as well. I'm excited to see how they kick off. I would be very interested to know if Spliff is going to be doing any gambling odds again. What's the over/under on the Heisman Ice series? Like, are we going to see over 5 runs? Like,
Yeah,
what?
5. No, that's really cool. Anything else, Plat?
I think J3 and Prestone is a solid matchup as well. I mean, we got 2, Prestone won the World Series a couple seasons back. J-Ank was just there, so that's a great one to kick off things. The very first series to kick off season 20. That's exciting.
Yeah, really, really excited to see this crew kick it off. Mama, you got anything else to add to today's matchup before we reveal the match of the week tentative schedule for the season?
Yeah, I'm really excited for Double A. I know I will be on the cast for that one. I mean, 2 big sluggers. I'm expecting a lot of home runs.
Yeah, big swings for the Double A and Jay with, again, dark horse, I think, going against the former champ. That's a good way to set the table. We're setting the table with really, really good matchups here. So let's head over to the match of the week schedules for the season. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more information about who you may or may not be playing here. The Double A, a little bit more of a unique case. Now, we've got week 1 already slated for you. The rest of you are all in what we would consider reserve territory. What that means is we're going to be pulling available matchups for triple headers across the season. We just haven't quite planned which weeks yet. And we're going to do that on the go forward. But if you have somebody you want to play on a match of the week, if you've got a rivalry that you've kind of brewed with somebody, one of these people is your friend, you'd like to play them, or you'd like to just totally kind of throw it to the wind and just say, hey, give me a match of the week and just stick me with somebody I just want to play, I can plan that for you, or Uni can plan that for you, or Zlak can plan that for you. Those are the 3 people that mainly produce the casts, so hit one of us up if you want to get with somebody and make a match of the week happen and add to the developed schedule here. That's what I want to say about the Double A. Anyone else have anything to add to the Double A before I move to Triple A?
Yeah, and I'll say when it comes to the Double A, I'm kind of I don't know if this is the right saying, the white knight. I'm like in the casting chat, like we need more Double A games on cast. And what makes it even more so that people want to watch those is just do what I do against all the match of the weeks. Just talk as much shit in the chat about somebody as you can and build up the hype in the chat, and we'll get that Double A thing on the schedule for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the message we want to send here is we'll make it happen. So
the WWE approach. Thank you. Uni.
Yeah, basically. Yes. I mean, it's worked for me. It's worked for me too. I mean, I'm with Uni there. You've seen me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's what we're here for, right? Let's take it over to AAA and talk about a couple of matchups that have actually been organized. So we've got week 1 we've already talked about, and then taking it down the list, Legit Fire versus COD, Mist versus Dwayne, Split versus Rix, Ty versus Elron, Johnny and Rise, Corn and Ed, and then we've got Todd, Simon, Silly, and No Name on deck for any replacements or additional matches of the week should we add any. Really, really interesting crew here. Anyone want to touch on these?
Yeah, let me go here, Dwayne. Obviously, you and me would just be. I mean, that couldn't be any better. I'm kind of glowing seeing that. That's such a good matchup. 2 veterans of the AAA always play each other tough. Legit Fire and Cody. That's. I'm telling you, Cody is tougher than you think. I love legit, but I'm going to go with Cody on that one. And then I already talked about Brad. Spliff Ricks, of course, is going to be a pitcher's duel. I like Coin versus Ty. That's just going to be offense. And then Rise and Johnny, that's a rematch of the play-in. So that's actually big for both of those two because they could possibly be on the playoff cusp. And then Korn versus Eddie is offense versus RNG. So I'm going to go with Ed in that one, but Korn could win 15-1 in both games if he goes off.
Anyone else want to check in on any of these matchups?
I think the Dynasty Elron matchup is got to be an insane odds for home runs in a series. That's going to be exciting.
Be a long one.
Yeah, for sure. Spliff and Ricks, I think they've had match of the week for the past 2 or 3 seasons. They keep getting each other and they keep putting out one-run bangers. So hope to see that yet again. But just a lot of solid, good matchups here.
Uni or Mama, or we'll move on to XBL?
Yeah. I mean, just very, the individual matchups are very, similar play styles. So, but you'll go from, a Split Star versus Ricks, which is, I mean, that's one of those games that you're going to do set lines for innings play, 25. And then you go from Dynasty versus Elron, where you're on, 8 home runs per game watch. So I really think it's be very exciting to watch week in and out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Ty and Elron, I wonder how long that set's going to be because, those high-scoring games are actually when the sets tend to get longer. Some extra innings can be one thing, but high-scoring games, man, really can make them long. I think those guys will be playing for almost 2 hours when it comes down to it. So really interested to see. As long as nobody gets mercied, it might be one of those 25-17 type games. But yeah, let's check out the XBL unless Uni's got anything.
I'm good.
All right, we'll slide on to the XBL. We've got week 1 Heisman versus Ice, as we know, and then week 2 Lazy versus Wishbone with a huge week 2 banger on the schedule. Vegan Vibes versus Teflon follows that up, and Mama Junjun versus Ox on the schedule for week 4. We've got AJ versus God's Unicorn to follow that up, Galaxy versus Fizzy, and then an open week in week 7 for a playoff implications match of the week, and I'm betting Zinslot on reserve. So this is a really, really interesting one. We've got the rookies against each other. We've got Mama versus Ox, which is a former AAA World Series from season 13. AJ versus Uni, I think, is just really, really balanced. Teflon versus Vegan, I think, are 2 really similar players. And obviously the former champ versus the current champ. It's almost like it's meant to be. So really, really excited to see the crews here. Anyone?
Yeah, I can go first since I didn't talk on the last one.
Good call.
Go Uni.
I mean, Lazy versus Wishbone is all right, I guess. I mean, it's a decent matchup.
Right.
Only the 2 best players against each other. I mean, what a banger to get week 2, right when you think people are like, okay, let's settle into the season. Now, let's go ahead and just hit you with the absolute nuclear matchup of Lazy versus Wishbone. That's crazy. Vegan versus Tef is going to be awesome because they both play tight games. Then MJ versus Ox, a couple of guys that are in the top 5 all the time, have a ridiculous amount of games with each other between AAA, XBL, SMNL. Me against AJ, I mean, honestly, pretty scary. And AJ, someone that I play a rematch with a ton, super nice guy, but I'm not going to be nice to you for about 5 weeks until August 31st. You will be hearing from me, and we will get that bet figured out, Sonny Boy, because we are going to have a bet. Then Galaxy versus Fizzy, the 2 rookies, I think that could be better. I guess I kind of ran through all of these, but then when you look at the reserves, if it's in Biddings versus Lat, even, talk about perfect matchup. Those are 2 guys that are going to play extremely close no matter what their seedings are, and really both of them could have huge playoff implications, so that's a perfect reserve slot.
Yep, I mean, all of these are bangers. I'm looking forward to legitimately every single one of them. I know against Ox, I think I've played match of week against it maybe once or twice, and I think it's gone in my favor, but obviously back in season 13, he swept my ass in the World Series, so that was unfortunate, so I'm looking to get my get back a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, the rest of these matchups are awesome. Really looking forward to Lazy versus Wishbone, obviously, and Vegan versus Teflon is going to be really, really fun.
Go ahead, Slat.
I think, yeah, echoed everything that everyone said so far. I guess I'll just mention, Vegan Vibes and Teflon's kind of like a sleeper matchup right there. I don't know if it's going to get as many, it doesn't carry the home run, wow factor, but that's actually going to be a really solid matchup I'm looking forward to. Also wanted to shout out the rookies there in week 6. That, alongside it just being a rookie versus a rookie matchup, there could be serious playoff implications in that as well, based off the preseason rankings and the hype that people have put into some of those players. So, I don't think there's a bad matchup here at all.
Yeah, everything's lined up really nicely. I got missed.
I was just gonna say, lazy. The reason you roll out the fire so early, with Wishbone against Lazy, it seems like XBL does this I don't know who sets these, but it's always perfect because you've always got, the Weaver versus Lazy, the, Luke versus, whoever's at the top that season, usually in the second week. And the reason you do that is because that's going to draw a lot of attention. But by the end of the season, it's all going to be completely once the reset button hits, that's an entirely new, whoever did well in that, second game of the week doesn't really mean much. So I actually like putting, the tip-top players against each other early. Mama versus Ox, I think, they theoretically, they whine that they have to play each other all the time on Match of the Week because they're best buddies and all this stuff. But I think it keeps them motivated. So I think I think this is a perfect matchup for those two in the middle of the season to keep them really excited. And I do think that's going to be a split. I'll guarantee you that is going to be a split. My man AJ Henry back. I think Uni and him are definitely a contrast in styles that will be interesting. And then Galaxy and Fizzy might seem like something you just kind of chucked in there at the end because these are new players. But these two can both hit, so that's actually going to be a fun series.
Yeah, really looking forward to. I was going to say, look, all lined up really nicely to have some really even matchups here with those of the people that volunteered for Match of the Week this season. So excited to see what we get. I'm excited to see the results of the season itself now that we've gone through all 3 leagues in quite good detail. So that'll take us to the end of things here tonight. Now I'm going to take us over quickly back to the camera screen where my camera actually kind of crapped out on us. So unfortunately, I have slightly disappeared, but everyone else is still here. And we'll take it around the round table just one more time and say goodbye for the evening. So we'll start from left to right with Mama Junjun. Mama, you got anything to say as we take things off for season number 20?
Just get your rosters in. Don't pull an Ox. Just get them in. Make Wishbone's life way easier. And
Taking it over to Mystery Man then?
Just excited for the season. I do think the matchups for the Match of the Week, those are always fun. It's amazing that M. Bennings would be a reserve. I think we're going to get him in there. I do think this is going to be an interesting season from the standpoint that there's so many extreme marquee players coming back to the XBL. There's been quite a lot of spotlight on the AAA the last few seasons, just because that's kind of been where I think the excitement is going to be in the XBL this season. Not that AAA is going to take a step back, but I just think, when you have Luke and Lazy and Weaver and and you've got these other players like Mush and Mama and M. Bennings, Ox that have stepped it up. It's really hard to tell how that's going to hash out. Like who, do you give way to the young gang or do you trample on them? I really don't know, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Uni?
I think it's me. Yeah, I would agree with what Mystery Man said, and that was kind of what I was going to say. Is the AAA is really? I mean, I'm in the chat talking about how I think the AAA is the best league all the time, but I would agree. I think the XBL for the first time in a long time has the most hype of any of the three leagues going in because of the OGs that are coming back. And I mean, y'all see me and Dwayne talking about it in the chat all the time. It's kind of an OG versus new blood sort of battle. Like one of the new blood guys that has a chance is in here right now with MJ. Then you got Wishbone who just won. So I think the XBL hype, I mean, it's really insane. And a lot of times you looked at the XBL before and got into the playoffs and you're just like, oh, well, this guy's going to win that round. That guy's going to win that round. Then we saw in the semis last year a 3-0 comeback, a 3-1 comeback. So now you're hanging on the edge of your seat every game in the XBL. Then, I mean, like it couldn't be any better. Even as someone like me who knows I quite likely probably have no chance, it's fun to see where everyone falls. And then, I mean, on top of that, you can add it's the biggest season ever. So, I mean, hell yeah. Then Double A's got so many rookies, dude. Are you kidding me? The amount of rookies in Double A's. So, it's going to be an excellent season. I hope everyone enjoyed the show and that we got people hyped for it. We're only a few days away from the season start. I'm really excited to play with everybody, and let's get those games in and have no drops this year.
Zlot?
Yeah. Hopefully no drops. That would be incredible. I guess I just wanted to, you guys have all made some great points and made some great call outs there. So I'll just say, thank you to everyone for participating in the community. Watching the stream tonight, I saw a pretty steady 40 plus people watching tonight. So, this community is just going to be what you make it. And so the more involved you are, the more active you are in chat is just going to make this place so much better. So, kudos to all my fellow casters here tonight. We do try to put a lot of work and passion into everything here behind the scenes. So, I mean, we just like everyone else, we all have lives and jobs and responsibilities, but we definitely dedicate our time and energy to this place and try to keep it, a special thing. So thank you for being with us.
Yeah, and to totally tie that all together, I mean, I'm super proud of everyone here tonight that helps put this all together. Obviously, I've done this time and time again for many seasons. Myself, I've been doing casting myself since like season, I don't know, 3 technically, but we really got into this in like season 8. Now we're at season 20. So that's, 10 plus seasons later, that's like 5 plus years of our actual lives that we've been doing stuff like this. Like I used to cast a lot of games with Weaver, casted a lot of games with people like Floribel and things like that, and people who have come to pass that have been interested in casting a few times here and there. And this group that we've got here has become a really cool, amazing core group of people that really put everything into this to make it happen, make it that much better. And you can see it in the fact that the XBL continues to grow despite the fact that we're playing what you would consider a game that is not growing. So, like, take that in mind every day. I mean, the community is, again, like Zla said, what you make it. I mean, I make it, it's a fun internet forum for us to play baseball and talk about. It's also a serious competitive league. It's many different things. It's whatever you want it to be. So keep up the good work, everybody. And looking forward to season 20. And with that being said, thanks everyone here tonight. And we will see you on opening day here on Saturday. And have a safe and pleasant evening, everyone.